remény kihagytok. A föld dübörög. What?
Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Whoa. Do you like that? Do you like that reveal? I have a green RetroNet unit here, and look, the green RetroNet unit has mystical properties. It's the RetroNet of invisibility. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the little bit of chiptune we had there. We had some Commodore 64 stuff, and we had some Amiga there, or Atari ST really. To be honest, the Captain Blood tune sounds the same on most formats. Just settling in here. I've got my shorts on today. It's a bit hot in the back office here. To my right down here, I have actually brought over my soldering station. We're not using the USB soldering iron today. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is PCBWay, because they kindly have donated the boards today. They are the sponsors. The official sponsors of the back office Pi project are PCBWay. And we're going to talk about those a tiny bit, just a little bit. I'm just having a quick say hello to everybody in the stream. And I do apologise. I'm going to have to drag the window over. Look, drag it over to over here so it's in front of my eyes. So I can see who have we got. And I'm going to start at the top. We've got Atari Staffroom, Kayak Fan, Robert Taylor, Herb Myers, Thomas Stratford, Kevin Lee, Mike Sem. Robert Taylor again, Andrew Beer, hello Andrew, Neil from Neil from the Retro Man Cave, or is Neil the Retro Man Cave? No, Neil, you're definitely not the Retro Man Cave, because that would be odd. Right, so let's have a quick look at the box now. PCBWay sent me these, and it came really well packed, and you can see already I've harvested it. There's actually 2 lots of these, so half of them have already gone to the I'm going to call them the back office build crew, y'all. The back office build crew. That's how we is getting things done here when we have these projects. We are a we're not going to say we're a hive mind or a cult, but we sort of are. So these are the boards PCBWay sent, and they are cracking good. Oh, so Neil says he is the Metro Man in a cave. So you've kind of just squashed that down a bit, so it's a bit more punchy for YouTube. So we'll have a quick look at the board. Let me adjust my lighting. There we go. So you can see this is the Raspberry Pi interface up here. So it does need a Raspberry Pi 3 at present, but I suspect it could run on a Pi Alpha when someone eventually ports it. And you can see we've got tack switch buttons here for start, up, down, exit and add disk. We've got 2 DIN serial ports here. We've got a buzzer mounting if you want one. We've got a load of MOSFETs here doing the level conversion, and I could have used a TI chip to do this, but it's kind of like, meh. Do we want to use an IC when we can use some low grade level shifting MOSFETs? We went with that. And we have an I2C interface for a OLED display actually. And I do have one of those. So today we're just going to do some soldering basically and go through that a bit. And I don't know if you can see the detail. I should have pushed focus. I didn't actually focus on that. We've been looking at it. But it's good quality. They've done a reasonably, well I say reasonably, they've done stonking quality on the boards. And the turnaround time is insane. I don't know if you saw what they did with the Odroid Go project, the audio DAC hat, but those have just gone. They've just flown off the shelf, literally. I had to sort of order more boards now. Also, something else that came in the box. So the box wasn't just that. There was something else in the box, and it was these. And I'll talk about those briefly as well before we move on. These were really quite kind of PCBWay. If you go on their website, when you order PCBs, sometimes they have these additional kind of generic, I guess, hobbyist boards, you say. Look, they're individual through-hole plated addressed boards. So you've got the A to whatever here. In fact, look, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, 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 A, B. So I don't know why it's got this X, 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 A, B going in. Maybe that's why they've given them away for free. Someone did a mistake. Who knows? 2 centimetre by 8 centimetres board. So that's quite nice, isn't it, for little projects? So Andrew, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to get a link for PCBWay so that anyone who links from that will get a discount. Cha-ching! So that's what we want, though. We want a discounted board. Now, I'm not sure of the positioning of this camera. I think it's all right, but just feel free to shout if you think I should shift it about a bit. And what we're going to do, Robert Taylor has so kindly provided us, and he's in the stream right now. So everybody in the stream, please feel free to say, hi, Rob. Thanks, Rob. Has provided the bill of materials for today's build. So that's stonking of him. And I've just realised I haven't printed out the bloody bill of materials myself. So I'm going to do that. So just to show you what I have to do when we're doing that. So when you're going to go to build your device, like I am here, I need to go and find a document that I made as part of the build, and that's part of the GitHub project. And that'll actually be the bill of materials for all of the components you need to make this. And I'm just sort of searching through. You'll not believe how many projects I have. There's so many now that it takes me a good amount of time, a goodly amount of time to actually start reading through. But there's the bill of materials. So at least we're sorted with that. So what I'm going to do with that, I'm just going to print that out. Control P. And I'm going to print it on just one of my other LaserJet printers. And then we're going to get that. Good. Right. So back on track. So while that's printing out, let's see what we've got here. So Rob has given us... now, the difference between, by the way, you might have seen the V1 boards out on the interwebs that Rob and Chrissy made. Because I didn't actually make a V1. I think, Rob, didn't you just put one together and it just worked? Which is stonking. But Rob was rather insistent that we had to go to a V2 because he loves the DIN serial ports. He just cannot get enough of these things. So we had to change the design so that we could use these. So the idea is if you want to hook this up to your Commodore 64 using one of these DIN type cables, you can. But the beauty of this is that it's actually got a through. So you can still connect to your other gadgets that use serial as well, like, I don't know, a modem or something like. You can tell me, I have no idea the things Commodore 64 uses, but look at that fit. Look at that fit, boys. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely. Like Rob says there, yep, first time. That's what they're calling me now, first time Dr. Andy, because he always, well, he always arrives first. I just realised this camera makes me look really weird. Like my head is really oblong. I mean, it's quite oblong in real life, but not that oblong. So without further ado, let's just start building this darn thing. So Rob, you best have all the components. Now, oh, he's labelled them so beautifully. Rob, I could kiss you if you were here. Look at that. LED, everything. Rob, you are a professional. I tell you what, I want to work with you on some commercial projects. Let's do something. Let's make the world a better place. Oh, look, I hope if you give me literally one of everything, so I've got to be extra cautious now. One false move, and it's all gone basically. So I've got my tweezers. I did have a really bad incident with my tweezers. I think it was yesterday, or was it the day before? You might have seen the tweet, where I accidentally punctured a tube of super glue and it went everywhere and it glued my hands together. So my tweezers now are misbehaving, which I'm not happy about because they were rather dear tweezers. Dear enough that people call me mad for buying them, but no, you need them. Right. Oh, so Robert says there are spares. Okay, Thank you, Rob. So let's just jump in, and I'm going to try to reach a happy medium with what you can see at home and what we can't. I'm going to go straight for this integrated circuit because integrated circuits are a pain in the arse and we want to get them out of the way. I do apologise, by the way, if the picture is a bit dark. Let's see. I've got settings here on this camera. I've got exposures and all sorts. So that doesn't seem to do anything. That doesn't seem to be doing anything. Ah, okay. How about that? Bit lighter? That's it. Better. Much better. Thank you very much. So I've got me soldering iron. Let's get some solder going. So Becky. Hey Becky, you're here. What are you saying, Becky? Work together on the first world commercial transact. Oh, submarine plane. I do like that. The idea of a submarine plane. Now these chips are really quite easy peasy because look at the pad spacing on that. It's absolutely ginormous. And you'll see me looking up at the screen talking to you. And you know why? I'll tell you why I'm doing it. Because I've got a live preview here of what the camera's seeing. And I'm using it like a microscope. So you will forgive me. I have been making rather a lot of those Odroid Go hats this evening. Just before this video. Looky, looky. It's pretty much there. It's not quite centered, but don't worry about that. We'll just poke it over. And it goes like that. I just realised I haven't turned on the Discord chat, by the way. I'm just going to turn on the Discord chat because sometimes people like Rob might like to jump in and give us some advice. So I'm hoping that's all working. Doesn't matter. We'll sort it out later if it isn't. So how about working on a container that doesn't allow you to mix up your spare screws? I do like that. Becky says she bought a 36-year-old digital multimeter for £3. And a 25-watt Weller for £2? Bloody hell. Becky, you're putting me to shame with these bargains. I'm not able to... In my old and infirm age, I'm not able to achieve the bargains I was once able to achieve as a young man. I think that's about good. So Kayak Fan is saying, what camera am I using for this? I'm using, it's called an Elmo EV450. An Elmo EV450. And it's kind of, well, it's kind of a bargain, like a Becky style bargain, because I picked up my Elmo EV450 for £3, I believe it was. So I think that I might be winning in the bargain hunt. Because these Elmo things, I think they're about £1,500 new. And I'm doing a really bad job of this, by the way. My soldering iron's at 372, too cold, basically. Let's give it a bit more juice. Yeah, we a car boot sale. I mean, it was just sitting there, and they clearly had it for a while, and they didn't know what it was, I guess, and they just wanted to get rid of it. So I just said, yeah, there you go, I'll have that. And the rest is history. So what it does, it actually has, it's got quite a lot of features. You know, you might have seen when I do the Predator feature, so we can see our soldering better. Look at that. There's a bit too much on those, but that's fine. If you really wanted to, you can use some solder braid like this. And wick it away. There you go. So Rob, when you were doing this, how much trouble did you have with this, putting this together? What was your order? I'm thinking you probably put these MOSFETs in. MOSFETs are metal oxide field effect transistors. They are a little bit different than regular transistors. So you got to just understand their idiosyncrasies. Now I have to admit, I don't really understand them fully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need 6 of these bad boys. So let's get out 6 of them. Come on, see my bloody things? There's a bit of super glue inside the maw of this. Get out of it. I can tell where next month's Patreon bucks are going to go. Oh, I've lost one. Get out of it. So there's 4, 5 and 6. Right. So the reason there's 6, there's 4 required for the actual communications, but we've got extra ones because there's 2 so that you can use the screen, and I cannot tell you at the moment which one's which. So my technique, I think, for putting these down today is going to be to solder one leg, and I think I'm just going to go for an outer leg, really. It might be a mistake to do that, but I'm going to compound my mistake by tinning all 6 pads in one go. And then we're going to try it. So we're going to get the old component. So this is a lot easier. Rob, are you on the stream, sir? Or are you in the chat? Are you in the voice or are you on the chat? Because I want to talk to you about your experience with this. Because you weren't a PCB assembling virgin, but you certainly tried a new technique out, and that was the technique of solder paste. So that's 2. Now I want to give you also, I was thinking about this earlier, a tip for you guys about your tweezers. So when you're doing your tweezering and you're trying to decide what tweezers to buy. Oh, Robert says can't hear on the stream chat. Well, let me have a look there, Rob. Sorry, you can't hear on the stream. Oh, that's because I'm muted on the stream chat, but not anymore. My mistake. So I just want to show you, boys and girls at home, when you're choosing a tweezers, and the only tweezers you need is an Idealtech SM116SA, Idealtech SM116SA, and if you're buying one, bloody buy me another one. This one's too crusty. What you need is something like this, because they're thin. Because oftentimes you'll pick up a component like that, and it won't be the right way round. He says, flicking across the room. It won't be the right way round. So what you've got to do is be able to, look, see that? Twist the tweezers in your hands like that while still maintaining the grip. And if you've got big, clunky, funky tweezers, you can't do that. So you'll see me now when I'm putting these down, I'll be doing a lot of that rotating action going on. So Rob, can you hear us now then, sir?
I can now. Evening, everyone.
No. Oh, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Mr. Rob. Let me just adjust the output, because we have you coming out of the wrong thing. There we go. You will be. Oh, there you are. You're quite audible to me. I don't know about the boys and girls at home, but we can play with that as necessary. So how was your solder paste experience? Because you did this all with solder paste.
Yeah, so you recommended the Chip Quick paste, which isn't cheap, but you don't really have to use hardly any of it.
So the Chip Quick paste, and the because I buy it sometimes in massive tubes. I've got one over there. It's a humongous tube, right? Yeah. And you don't use it that often. Well, I don't. And what happens is it all dries out.
Yeah.
So I think
it doesn't come with a proper lid either, really, to sort of seal the end.
Ah, okay. So what was your technique? Were you putting all 3 blobs down and then just putting the Chip Quick on?
Yeah, well, in the end, I found the easiest way was to put a tiny bit of Chip Quick on the pads and sort of preheat them so that the solder was already on there.
Ah.
So basically I had all the pads pre-soldered then, and just sort of drop the component on and hot air it.
Oh, so you're using hot air. Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it. Howard, Dubious Engineering, he says, tweezer problems. No, well, yes and no. I mean, apart from my tweezers being totally coated in super glue, which I could do without, I was just explaining the benefits of a good thin pair of tweezers. So you don't want all the girth. You don't want girthy tweezers, so I think is the conclusion of that discussion. So let's have a look at the Predator vision. Not sort of Gary Glitter style, but more, Alien Predator. All of those are looking pretty good to me. I am actually quite satisfied with that. Right, so Rob, what have I done here? I've started to mess up some of these parts. Right, so Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So this is one of those inverters that we don't need right now. Oh, Howard, you're too kind. $1.99. Crikey. I'm embarrassed now. So let's look at all these resistors. All the resistors are the same, Rob. R1, R2, R3, 10K, 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 10K. That's good, isn't it? So we're going to put in now those 10 resistors. Gary's Gang, Mark Hume says, yes, Gary's Gang. The less said about Gary's Gang, the better, don't you think? Now, I've got a confession to make, anybody watching here. This project does require the use of a Raspberry Pi, and I don't actually have a suitable one right now for it. So we probably aren't going to be able to actually test this out too much in this stream, but we're just going to build it right now. So there might be there will be a part 2. Unless there's significant peer pressure for me to go and dismantle one of my many projects that have the Raspberry Pi 3s embedded in them. So you can see what I've done now. I've just sort of tinned one side of each. See, one side of each of these surface mount components for the passives. So we're just going to count up the resistors. It looks like all the resistors bar R9 and R10 are 10Ks. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. So we're going to just take out 12 of them now. And this is always the tricky part. If someone has a better technique for this, I'd love to hear it, because mine is shocking. I've out of all the years, I've never managed to figure out a way of doing this right. And sometimes this happens where too much comes away. The paper actually comes away with the bloody backing. Guess I'll never make a good robot. Right, let's... Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. So, Howard, tell me, are you a surface mount fan, or are you more of the old school through-hole componentry? Let's clean this up. Let's get going. Ah. So, do you see what happened there? By the way, they have this tendency to just tip over on themselves, which is bloody annoying. And there's another trick. Look, just show you. You'll get them do that from time to time, where they want to salute the board. Try to get those down. Dang. There we go. And if you want to, if you've got a hot air, and even though we're doing it manually because we're not using solder paste, if you wanted to, you can always just hit it with hot air afterwards, and you'll see. If you've ordered any of the Odroid boards, that's exactly what I've done, and I don't hide the fact. If you're hand soldering things, they are not going to be as neat or as nicely flowed as a reflow oven or a hot air. But you can fix that. That's fine. To be honest, as long as it works, that's pretty much all that matters most of the time, isn't it? Tombstoning. I like that. Tombstoning. So Howard's saying, you didn't see my 300 off 0603 LED clock. Oh God, was that like one of those ones I did? And just, do you remember there was a stream I did where I sat and built one of those bloody things? I think it's over there. I might get it in a minute and show you. And I put it in my reflow oven, which I haven't used much, I will admit. And I set it all wrong, and the board just pretty much just ignited. It just totally destroyed the board. So that was always a very sobering thing there.
Made good cheese on toast, though.
I think that's the only thing it's useful for at the moment. Do you want to have a go at that, Rob, one day?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a try of it.
When you clear out some shelf space or something in your shed.
Yeah.
And there's a scope as well we need to try out. There we go. I tell you what, I thought I counted out the right number of these, but clearly I didn't. James is watching from the US of A. So what time is it with you, James? It must be either. Well, it might be lunchtime, I suppose. It could be lunchtime with you, depending if you're the East Coast or West Coast. GB Engineering, Howard, he wants to see a link. So I can't. My hands are full right now. I kind of need someone like Rob, maybe, who could kind of do the honours of sending you the link to that. I'm sure he can Google it for you. Right, I'm just going to put on now R14, R15. Just double check. They are 10K. I'll just look at the list. So Andrew says he built one of the super LED POV spheres, had to solder a line of SMD LEDs on the edge of a board. Now, I want to show you. I've got some videos that I need to edit. I'm getting very bad in my editing recently. I'm a bit poorly. You know, get out the tiny violin. I've been a bit poorly, and I'm still feeling a bit poorly. And one of those videos is going to show you some fairy lights. I don't know, Rob, if you saw them at the Play Expo. I had some fairy lights I was playing with. And those are insanely cool, how they're actually made, because they're two thin pieces of wire, and every now and then there's an LED actually soldered across two of these tiny bits of like wire. It's just a bonkers design. Right, here we go.
Can I post links in the chat?
Yeah, go ahead, try it. Now, if not, I'll make you a moderator, and then you'll be allowed to. So
it says remove web addresses and try again.
it's all right. Hang on. Where are you? Just say hello. Post a hello. So Wayne says hello, Big Clive. I'm not Scottish enough to be Big Clive. And I certainly don't have as many subs as him. Right. So now you're a moderator, Rob. So you can do pretty much anything you like. So Craig is saying, what is this exactly? Well, did we actually even introduce this project? Did we? I don't think we started at the beginning here. So what this is a board you can make, and you can basically attach it to a Raspberry Pi, and then the Raspberry Pi will be an absolute exact emulation of the 1541 Commodore disk drive. Yeah, so it's a kind of to replace those Commodore disk drives, which are pretty much impossible to find now. But it's so cycle perfect. The Commodore, for all intents and purposes, is seeing this. But what's interesting about that drive is that drive itself was almost like an entire Commodore 64. Well, not quite 64, but Commodore computer in itself, because it was a serial device and it was communicated to via serial and given commands and things like that. Oh, you said the title of the stream is wrong. What's the title of the stream? Is it wrong? If it's wrong, I should change that.
It says Odroid Audio Hub.
Does it really? Excuse me. I tell you what, YouTube has got a mind of its bloody own sometimes. Honestly. Look how disappointed everybody is who's come in and they've said more Odroids. Well, I mean, one of the questions is, could you potentially connect this to an Odroid? And I think the answer is probably. Oh yeah, it does say Odroid. Right. I'm just gonna say 64 drive. Right, back to it. The weird thing when you do the YouTube streaming, by the way, it doesn't seem to have a save button when you finish whatever you're doing in it. So it's just weird. Don't know how it sort of commits that. Right, okay. Where was I? Meanwhile, so we've got our resistors in. We've got our level shift MOSFETs, and technically it's bidirectional, actually. Interestingly enough. What else should we do then, Rob? What would you suggest? R10, R9, and C1.
R11 and the LED as well.
Oh, okay. Good spot there. So the R11 is now the LED one is something we might get everybody to play along at home with, because I don't know about you, I never know which way around they go. It's always 50-50 and I'll always get it wrong. I'll be like one of those guys doing the bomb thing with the red wire and the black wire.
No.
And it's like, you know, they go to cut the first one and go, nah, I don't think so.
And blow up.
There we go. I can't imagine any circuit like that would actually, make any difference which wire you cut. Right, so that's the resistor in for the LED.
Is that 300 ohm?
That's the 300 ohm indeed, and I'm going to zoom in for a specific reason here on the old LED. And I think you know why, Rob, because here's the LED. I'm just going to unwrap it off camera because it's a bit too zoomed in. So you've given me two of these, kindly. What do you think about ordering bills of material? Isn't it interesting how sometimes you think, I'm going to order some resistors and they're quite cheap, so you'll order loads and loads of them, but then you might end up just having loads and loads of a real weird value resistor that you're never going to use again.
It varies wildly as well. If you don't mind waiting for the Chinese to send you them, you get a much better deal.
You get a much better deal.
It could take months to come.
So I'm going to zoom in now. You might see in the top right corner we've got a little window going on. So ground is this pad. So which way round, boys and girls, does this LED go in? And you can see there's a little green dot that side, and if I flip it over using my, see that tweezer twisting, the tweezer twisting technique, that is what you get on the back. So you get this little castle on that side, and then you get the dot.
I put the fat part of the castle to the left.
Would you? So this is ground, this pad.
I did on this board.
So you're going with fat, small part of castle. See, I was going to say small part of castle to the left too. So that's Craig has said small pass. Noggin the nog, yeah. Actually, Rob, can you post the link to my GitHub for this project as well?
Yeah.
That is really, it's shoddy work for me on the in terms of the actual description here. So Andrew Beer says green dot is ground. So Rob, we're going to go with green dot being ground. We're going against your authority on this one.
You'll learn.
Yeah. Why is that LED? Why is that LED not working? I'm really gutted though that my Raspberry Pi 3 didn't turn up. I ordered it off Amazon, Amazon Prime, and they say it's all going to come like the next second. And I was tracking it, and it said it was coming from, I want to say Italy, somewhere like that. But it said it was like in the UK, and I was like, oh cool, it's going to come today. And then it said, package damaged, returning to sender. And I was like, oh, you buggers. I wouldn't even mind if the box was a bit damaged. I mean, it doesn't matter. But it's gone. It's gone away. Right, so I've got C1 here now. It's just off camera. And then R10 and R9, which are both, fortunately, the same value. Here we go. So anyone in the stream... So Electron Ash, by the way, says, if you asked me before, I'd have said the positive anode if it's a green dot, but now I'm not so sure. So Electron Ash is actually going with you, Rob, on that one. I think we need to get a bit of power on this board and just try that. I think that's something we're going to do.
I think what might have happened is that when you did the circuit design, it was wrong way round in the actual schematic.
Oh, hang on. Also, Rob, do you remember? This is a V2 board, right?
Yeah, and it might be different.
It may well be. So now I'm looking for two 1Ks. Yep, got my two 1Ks. Becky says she just read on a forum that a green dot is negative, so I think we're okay right now. So I think, Rob, you were right. I bet if we look at the V1 design, it was on the other side. Because I would have had to move all of that because it was on the other side of the board.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Dee. Yes, James, that's a great idea. So James saying just set it to continuity. Hopefully it won't be too much current. I never really tested for that. How much current do you get in a multimeter continuity? So we'll just pop those two now. It's not actually a very long build time on this board, considering it's got a lot of those little parts. It's not bad, really. I mean, I'm not saying I'd want to make like a bunch of them. So if a lot of people want to fancy these, I'm happy to do this. In fact, I'll put a link to my shop on there and sell you the boards if you want to make the boards up. I'm not sure how many of these I'd want to hand build. So Kayak saying not enough to fry it. Okay, got ya. Not enough to fry your little LED. Okay, so that's all our resistors and our MOSFETs and capacitors and LEDs. So what's left? Switches and then our serial ports. So Rob, tell us again, why didn't you like the serial port that you had to make up? You want to go for the wired ones?
Yeah, I think mainly because of most Commodore fans will already have a 1541 or the cable, so you can use it for the through as well, the through serial. Just saves having to like make an adapter from the other C64 serial.
So this cable is actually from a 1541.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Not specifically, but that's a 64 serial cable.
So I would have just assumed Commodore would have just. Where was I going with this? My line of thought was... Sorry, I was just getting thrown by these switches. I'll show you why in a minute. I just thought they'd have hardwired it one end to save money, which is kind of we were sort of doing with putting this one here, but we've got them there now, so you've got both options. If you're mounting it in a case, for example, you're doing the 3D printed little not Raspberry Pi, but Commodore 64 drive mini case that Chrissy designed, that one might work better, but I'm sure he's going to redesign his case to see if it can fit these in.
And the good thing, you don't have to fit them. You can just go with the other connector on the other end of the board.
The little Molex one. Yeah. So I'm going to zoom in on this, guys, because we have a problem. But you like problems. Focus. There we go. So something we've got, if you can see here, the footprint of these tack switches is wrong. So Robert, you got the wrong ones. You got the wrong ones, man. Are these the ones you used for the VA? The V1 board?
Yeah, they are. They do fit, sort of, but...
They almost look like they might short there.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing some modding. Now this is not totally without precedent, by the way. Even on the Odroid I'd got the wrong jacks. There's always like glitches like this, and to be honest it's easier to use what you've got than go and buy new things. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to cut off some of the legs, and if that works I'll zoom in and show you how I've done it. I'm just going to eyeball this. It's going to be tight, but I think we can do it. So I'm going to try soldering this one in. I've basically cut the feet off, so these are just left at the ankles now. So zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. It might make them a bit weird to solder in, but I think we'll be okay. So we're just going to use the same trick again. We're just going to do one corner. In fact, I might as well just do that for all of them while we're here.
I think actually, because we put the buttons closer together on this V2, so that makes those less forgiving for those buttons.
Ah, okay. Yeah, not to worry though. I think it's going to be okay. Ooh, that's hot. as this soldering iron's got older, it seems to be transmitting more heat up the silicone handle. Got to start watching that. Right, so what I'm doing here is, you see the little feet there? I'm knocking them off. And then I'm leaving them without a foot. So we're just changing the nature of this component a bit. I'm just trying to look here, Rob, on the BOM in front of me to see if we did even mention what they're supposed to be or not. Sometimes
we had a specific one.
Sometimes I make the mistake and I'll design in a part that's kind of standard. So, and then discover if you buy some other variant on China, especially if it's a copy of some other really popular one, you can get them for next to nothing, and you've gone and designed in an expensive German part or something. So then
They've done that with the MOSFET. You got BS123 and it's actually 138 or whatever it is.
Oh, is it? What was the
No
difference
problem.
between those MOSFETs?
Totally different.
Oh yeah, I just wanted the footprint for the MOSFET, but
Yeah,
I
that's it.
suspect it would probably just work. For an application like this, I think a lot of things would just work. But what I've since discovered on this, once I've thought about it, if you noticed in the Discord, I actually posted a picture of the datasheet of a way better thing to use, where it's just like one chip that will do all of that.
Hmm.
But whether or not it's worth the cost, I think Chrissy said it was £1 something. Right. Well, that was cool though. That was still pretty quick getting those sort of just tacked down, and they're all pretty well aligned. So I haven't been paying any attention, Rob, to the old chat. Anything going on? So Craig saying, Electron Ash, one thing I'm thinking of is having the same way of transferring data without being plugged into a PC. Well, guys, I might just flash some hardware. I may well be working on some next gen stuff, but to be honest with you, I'm reserving a lot of that conversation with in the Discord and with patrons at the moment, because these are quite big projects. But I'm working on projects to ensure that your retro gadgets can run headless from PCs in a kind of crazy cool way. Right, so let's go. So those are all tacked down. Just going to push them. They still work. Good. So Rob, it would be quite easy in a lot of projects, by the way, to make these capacitive. What's your view on capacitive buttons?
I'd have preferred them through hole because they're more sturdy and easier to solder.
But a capacitive, you don't even have a button, it's just drawn on the PCB.
Yeah.
But you do lose that nice clicky.
Nice click.
Have I... No, that's good. Thought I may have shorted that out. Kind of lost track now. I think I might have done them. By Jove, I think I've done them.
It calls for predator view, I think.
Oh, good point. It's good though, isn't it, the predator view? It actually does work. That is cool. Cool predator view. Nice. Right, just gonna sip on a coffee. Now, before I continue, I would like to talk briefly about Summit, and I'm just having a quick look. If you are in the Discord, you may know a character in the Discord called a flock of sea cows. You aware of a flock of sea cows, Rob?
Yep.
And well, I have had a gift from a flock of sea cows, and I was going to save it for a video, but I think this could be a good opportunity to have a quick look in the old box. So I'm going to do an unboxing. My address is plastered all over this box, by the way, so I'm just going to I'm going to do the kind of opening part of it here. And it's not that I'm worried about you sending me stuff. If you want to send me stuff, just ask me, but it does seem to be the done thing. The reason being, of course, this video might be going out years from now and the address is going to be wrong. This actually does look like an RS order though. When I saw this box, I thought it was an RS order. So there we go. And if you look, there's a whole load of treats here. Let's have a look. Oh my, I think we are going to have to do a separate YouTube video of this properly. So we've got some Dijongiver, I don't know how you pronounce that. And some Dunder salts. Look at that. And there's like a kind of a weird creature there with their Dunder salt. That looks amazing. I don't know if I'm going to reveal all of the things in the box. Ooh. Some salty fish, and these are all the salmiakki, which are really salty. You know, they've got that saltyish flavour. Look at that. Not. I think I'm in danger here. I think I'm in a danger because I'm going to start getting addicted to these again, and then you can't get hold of them. And one more. Oh, the smell is amazing, by the way. You can really smell this stuff. Ooh, these look weird, don't they? Smash! So they're both sweet and salty and crispy at the same time. Oh, and there's even another chocolate bar in there with chocolate and liquid. Oh, right. As somebody who literally has put on 3 kilos in the last 3 weeks, being a bit poorly, this box is going far, far away. In fact, all the way over there. Right, back to it. So, Rob, quick question for you. Which way does the Pi interface go? It goes underneath, I'm guessing?
Yeah, underneath from what you're looking at.
Okay, so we'll pop that on at the end because it looks like it's going to be a pain in the arse. Let's get the buzzer on, shall we? So there is a plus and a minus marked on the buzzer, but I don't think it really matters. It says remove seal after washing, so that's if you're going to wash down your board to get the flux off it.
And the plus is the end of the tab.
The end of the tab, yeah, that one right there. Baz is saying, blimey, no green curtain. Yeah, no green curtain today. Just like old school back office. The reason is I don't have the green curtain, by the way, is because it's really tiny. I cut it up. It was a massive piece, like a 3 metre by 2 metre piece of green screen curtain. And I was doing a project with it, and then I ended up with a most tiniest piece, and then that's the piece you see when I do the streaming, and it's literally like 1 metre by 1.5 meters. So if I move slightly, that's why you can see the edges of it in the box. Right, and now I think you'd go for the serial now, wouldn't you? Yeah. Now I do also have the I2C interface, but the problem with that is I don't think you want to mount it on the board directly, but I will have a look for it. I think it's just over there. We will see if you wanted to mount it directly on the board, if it could be. I don't know if the pinouts are right. There's no reason they should be.
They weren't.
Oh, they weren't?
No. They were right for the one that you found on eBay. But
Yeah.
then a different one I ordered from eBay because the others were out of stock. The 2 of the channels were switched around.
Okay, let me have a quick look then while we're here then. I think I know where it is. Everything's gonna be alright.
Mr. Dalton's quiet in the chat.
That's because I'm driving my car.
Alright.
Oh, hello, you can see me little shorty shorts. Okay, it's all gone wrong. That clattering, by the way, is Raspberry Pi 1541 boards dropping everywhere. Let's chuck them over there. Right. So, yeah, okay, I'm just going to finish off that serial port. Or both of them. You can see there's a whole bunch of them there. and then we'll see what this screen is up to, and then we'll do the header, and that's it really. The only thing we need after that is a Raspberry Pi and an SD card. What size SD card do the boys and girls at home need to get if they're building this?
It doesn't need to be very big at all for basic use. I just use a 2 GB one that I found lying around.
It's almost hard to find a 2 GB micro SD now, isn't it? I think I was looking on eBuyer earlier for £6. You can get like a 32 GB one.
Yeah.
I think it'll do. It won't complain about it being too big or anything. So that's looking cute, isn't it? And those are solid as hell, Rob. You would not want to step on that in your bare feet. So we're going to just open up this thing. Let's have a look. There we go. I'm missing a lot of chat. I'm being very, very bad here. Very bad. By the way, there's a lot of talking about the component leg thing. Are you talking about these rather nifty side cutters with the component leg catcher built in? If not, you should be. Right, so this is an OLED screen. It doesn't need any backlighting because its illumination is provided by the fact it uses LED technology. And I'm just looking at the pinouts in the corner. So A and L. So Rob, it kind of looks like to me it might almost go in like that, but I'm thinking SDA, SCL, the clock. Yeah, these two pins are the wrong way around, aren't they?
Yeah.
Why is that then? So we're saying this is the difference. So you got to be careful, guys. So I bought this board, which is quite a common one, but Rob said I didn't go completely mad. I did wire that correctly. There's different flavors of these boards, so you got to be careful. There's two different lines on your I2C bus here. Don't worry, I'm gonna focus up here. In fact, I'm gonna do some manual focus. Let's live dangerously. Oh, look how sharp that is. So I just want to show you, point these out. This pin here is the data pin on our board, and this pin here is the clock. So you can see this one though is the clock on this one, and this one is the data. So if you soldered that straight on like that, you're going to be in for a bad time because it's just not going to work. Now let's have a think. Is that a big problem? Probably not, because I kind of think, if I recall, Rob, we actually had a bigger screen that was going to go in this anyway. These were not the original.
I used a bigger one. The pins were still the wrong way around.
Okay. Now, when you see how Chrissy's done it, though, he's mounted this elsewhere. So he's just connected these up with a ribbon cable. So it's very easy for you to just make that swap. So just be aware of it, right? Don't freak out. Don't panic. Just be aware that it's there. Boosh.
I'm pretty sure as well, in the config file, you can actually tell it to swap pins around.
Oh, if it's a bit banged I2C, so that means it's not using hardware to do it, you probably can. Or if it's got like a multi-point switch, a bit like the chip in the Odroid or the old ESP8266 or 8622, whichever it's called. You could reconfigure those. So yeah, maybe you can just do it in software. That would be neat, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to break it if you put it in wrong. You've got the power lines are the right way. But yeah, it's a cute little module that. But I paid a lot of money for this. By the way, these are quite expensive, especially if you want to get them expedited shipping. But again, on my store, I'm going to be stocking these. So I'm going to be stocking these and these boards pretty soon. And again, let's have a big old shout out to PCBWay, who kindly provided these boards for this stream today. Now, we've got one more thing to do, and that is to apply our header, which we can do like so. There we go. We're just going to zoom out a little bit of that one. Boom. So Becky says build this using 1960s technology. Crikey. I mean, I think you'd just end up with a Commodore 64, wouldn't you? valves and stuff. I think valves though were more like 1930s technology. And if you want to speak valves, you need to speak to Howard, Dubious Engineering. If he's still on the stream, he might have got bored and gone away now to do something, do some real projects. But
Fairfight wants to know about the cases.
Okay, what's the question?
Designing.
What's the question, Rob, if you don't
I
mind?
just wants to know if there's any, what's the plans for them, basically.
Okay, well, if you follow in the Discord, and I know that Fairfight does, Chrissy has designed a really nice case. In fact, it might even be in the thumbnail for this stream. You might see it. In fact, hang on. Let's have a look-see, shall we? I just realised my web browser is set to 500% zoom. It looks crazy. Oh, I've got a question, by the way, for people in the stream as well. I was looking at these monitors that seem to be relatively popular, that are quite wide. But I can't figure out what's the use case of a monitor that's as wide as 3 of your existing monitors. It seems like you'll be spending a lot of time hunting around. Right, so if you look here, this is that's the V2 PCB picture, but these are the cases that Chrissy have made. So you can see that. See if I can steal his picture. I can. And then we can double click that. Do a bit of zoomery. There we go. So you can see that sitting on an original one. And he's got the little screen running, so you can do that. And what else is awesome on this is that basically you can use the HDMI output on the Raspberry Pi, so you can actually see all these menus and things. Is that what you found, Rob? Did you use that yourself?
Yeah. So the one, if you do use the HDMI output to a TV or a monitor, there's a nice-ish front end where it shows an actual layout of the disc as well, and it actually shows a waveform as well of what's being read when you're accessing the disc.
Oh, that's cute. And I guess it's one of those things that's easy to upgrade because they can easily change that. Was there any sort of Wi-Fi access or anything?
No, not as default.
I did read somewhere that I think someone was saying maybe you could change there's an Android app that you can use for changing your images on it. And it uses Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but again, I don't know too much about that at the minute. But it does sound feasible. You can do what you like.
The thing is, Steve White, the designer, he's still working on it and regularly putting updates up.
It's an active project too. So if you want to get more information, you could just look up Steve White, or it's linked off my GitHub on this. He's basically the creator of this project, and yes, he's a really nice guy. I think we've all chatted to him, haven't we, individually, asking him stuff. And I was talking to him early on about this and adding the screen support and everything, and it's just all there. It's just by the time you go to use it, like you, Rob, when you hooked it all up, it just worked, didn't it?
Yeah,
he's already done it.
I did. I've been quite involved with the Software Preservation Society, the SPS, and they've been sort of dumping original discs, including all the copy protection and things. And we did find 1 or 2 that didn't work, but he's already fixed those. So
oh, brilliant! So does this
really
mean
cycle exact? It really is.
Does this mean like all of the, as you say, all the stuff with fancy copy protection on the actual discs themselves will still work?
That's it. So that the discs are dumped basically in a raw state using like a cryoflux. It measures the magnetic flux rather than the actual file structures.
Wow.
So it basically gets everything, including the copy protections and things.
So I'm just rubbing this along just to make sure they're all consistent and done, and they are. Hooray, hooray. Look at that. So is that it, Rob? Is that a built unit?
That's pretty much it.
And we can pop that
Might
off.
be worth mentioning the external I/O, so you can connect the buttons and things.
Yes.
Separately if you wanted to.
Let's do that. I shall certainly mention that. That would be a bit embarrassing. So this part here is an external I/O that, let's just count the pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 8 pins. So is that giving you, Rob, if I recall, that's the 8 buttons are on there plus the LED?
5 buttons.
Oh, sorry, 5 buttons plus the LED.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but it's definitely the buttons.
And it's not as if we don't have a circuit in front of us here to actually check, which we can do. And I shall do that. So again, if you're reading the circuitry, you can see it on the GitHub there. That connector, I believe, is here. There we go. So that's the external I/O connector right there. And it's giving you the 5 switches, 2 grounds, and the LED. And if we look at the LED, though, is it before or after the resistor? Yeah, LED. So that gives you the opportunity of it hasn't got a resistor in series here, so that gives you the opportunity if you want a brighter LED or not, you can pop it in there. Or if you got, sometimes, have you noticed that, Rob? Sometimes if you get a blue LED or a red LED, if you keep the same resistor value, one will be kind of a bit too dim or too bright.
I've tried this board or the version 1 board with a green and a blue LED, and they were both quite bright, to be fair, with the 300 ohm resistor.
Both quite bright. I'm searching, just in vain hope that I've just got a Pi knocking around, and I don't. However, let's do some prizes, shall we? Should we do a little contest or something for all the boys and girls at home, all of the 29 people who have stuck with this stream? I'm going to do a little prize giveaway. Now I know that you'll be wanting one of those boards, and I think that makes sense that we give that away in the prize. But we have 2 prizes today, Rob, and I don't know what's the criteria for the prizes. Normally you should use one to leverage your social media, so whoever does the most retweets will get a prize, but I don't want to do that. But what I will do in the Discord, I'm gonna set up. Yeah, well, Becky won the Raspberry Pi last time. That's right. That's true. So it was real though, Becky. By the way, the prize you did get a prize, right? It wasn't a bullshit thing. I did actually get you a prize of a Raspberry Pi, which would have probably been quite useful for this project right now. Now we have 2 things to give away, and maybe one this stream, one the next stream, because I think we're going to be doing another stream just using this where we do the final software. So the first prize is donated by the Game Whisperer, Dino, and I think Dino might be in the stream. If he is, make yourself known. And it's this rather nifty thing that he's made, and it was originally from curiouselectric.co.uk, and this is crazy fun, by the way. I have played with it, and Electronash is saying TV be gone, because yes, that is exactly what it is, and it bloody works. That's the thing about this, it's just awesome. So I'm going to zoom in so you can have a quick look. Basically what you've got here is a microcontroller, and it's an AVR. Yeah, it's just like a little AVR and a battery pack. So I'll move the battery pack out. You know what a battery pack looks like. And it looks like it's just got it's a very simple circuit here. And what it does, oh, you can see I've already hit the button and the light's flashing. And what it does, you can see it's pulsing like mad. It's got 4 of these infrared LEDs, and I think they're 2 different frequencies because these 2 are slightly darker than these 2. You can see there's a bunch of transistors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're obviously driving those things. It's probably using one transistor to pull all the others, to drive the others. In fact, looking at it, yes, you've got these transistors here, and I think they're being switched by this guy to give as much power out as possible. And I think this big old caps and things here are to stop the AVR from getting a brownout when the power goes too high, when the current gets drawn through these. And what it does, it basically cycles through. Nog in the nog. Yeah, I should. The site, everything I've got is linked from my GitHub to the original site and everything. I'm gonna paste all of that into the description of this after the stream, so everything's there. So yeah, so what it does, you point this at any TV and it basically cycles through all the codes and eventually shuts down the telly. So that's pretty sweet. So Becky, can you remind me what was the criteria for the prize last time? So we're going to do that now. This will be this week, and next stream we're going to do this board here, which I'm almost thinking, is it even? Look at that bloody thing, right? It's almost Pi-ish in its footprint, but this is an Arietta G25, an Acme Systems Arietta G25 Linux computer, right there. Also with its programming serial FTDI 232R header, and also with Wi-Fi module, which I've soldered on here, and probably not with this 8GB micro SD card with the Linux on, because we're probably going to use that for this project. So that'll be next stream, which will probably be later in the week. Won't be long, just till we get up when our Raspberry Pi eventually arrives. So as Baz is saying, so it's just, oh yeah, it's it was a so the criteria to win the prize was to tell me how awesome I am and to give a good reason why you want it. Okay, so so the person to win, if you want to win this, tell me how would you use this? And knowing my sense of humour, it's going to be, what is the most evil thing you could do with this thing to knock off tellies somewhere? Tickle my fancy, and I'll get that in a box to you, alright? Right away, right immediately after this stream. And if you're in a foreign country, then curse you and your crazy postage costs. You're costing me money at that point, but that's fine. So Rob, I'm just putting your spares in the bag, and I might as well pop that screen in there as well. We'll probably need those. So let's have a look then. Oh, crikey, it's all like sort of zooming up now. So turn off the footy in the pub? Airport. Chrissy, airport. Are you thinking Gatwick? Gatwick Airport, perhaps. That could be good. James is saying sitting in the pub, turning off the game. Oh, Electron Ash. I like it. He's saying to use the powered down displays in the cockpit of a plane. I think that's a federal offence or something. You'll probably get thrown away in prison for years for that one. Kevin says Gatwick Departure Lounge and turn off the displays. Can you imagine the stress they'd have if you did that? They'd think, oh no, it's going all wrong again. Craig says, has anyone seen the video of the Spanish dude who ends up smashing his TV to pieces while watching football because someone's using one of those to turn his telly off? Oh, you'd use it to turn off a hot TV in a hospital waiting room, Bazza says. That's really evil. It's really evil. I think we have to do a tombola, Rob. What do you think? It's too difficult.
It's too close.
Shall I? I'm gonna point at the thing, my finger at the screen, right? So it's touching the chat, and then I'm scrolling the chat up and down with my mouse wheel. I'm gonna show you the mouse wheel scrolling. Oh, must have gone off it. There we go. Get the focus. Right. The person who is gonna win the TV Be Gone. I kind of look there. I don't know why. It's almost like cheating. It's going to be this person. And it's going to be Kayak Fan. Kayak Fan, please tell me you're not in the US. Kayak Fan, where are you located? Kayak Fan is being touched. Craig Jones says, I don't want it, by the way. Kayak Fan. Oh, Thomas, your idea was really good, by the way, to turn it off in the in a Currys or PC world. That would be really good. Dang, that's fun. Dang. Oh, phew, Kayak Fan's in the Netherlands. Ah, that's reassuring. I mean, I was going to probably take the batteries out anyway and pocket those, you know, to reduce weight, but I can deal with that. So Kayak Fan, if you could do me a big favour in the Discord, just ping me, do a DM in the Discord, and I will sort that out for you, sir. And I hope that you take it to a PC World or any place that just sells loads of TVs, and you take a little video of yourself with your phone just secretly, and they just go, So yeah, there you go. Kayak Fan is the winner at life, not just the winner at this. So let's just wrap this up then before our next stream. What would you say I should do, Rob? Do you think I need to get the OLED wired up? Is that worth doing?
It does. It's easy to operate using the LCD. You don't have to plug up the HDMI. Then.
Shall I
Nice
just?
to show both.
It would be nice to see if there's any real way though before we shut this. Oh, yeah. Send me some of your special brownies, whatever that means. Right. Well, I can tell you what. Let's have a look here just to see realistically if you could even modify this board, which I kind of feel looking at it. I think I could, And I'll tell you why. I'll tell the why. Bit of manual focus. So what you can see with this board, we want to turn around the clock and the data pins, and you can see they're running to these points here. And you can see on the back there's only ground plane here, so they're pretty much isolated. In fact, this pin here is probably a ground. In fact, you can see it is. And then this pin is the power pin coming in to this little transistor. Yeah, there's the VCC, or probably maybe it's a little regulator. That could be a little 3v3 or something. Let's have a look. It says it's a 662K, whoever a 662K is. I think, Rob, with my mad skills, I could probably scrape that there and put a Kynar across each way. Whether or not we should, I don't know. I'm just going to see also if it's possible to lift this. Now bear in mind I paid £5 for this screen, so I might be really regretting this.
I made a cable.
You made a cable. Let's make
masochist. Because you can't even use it now anyway, so why bust it?
Yeah, and you're right. Maybe I'll do that offline, shall I? Because it looks so cute. Like I could just take a little nibble out this corner, like this. Oh, it's really not liking that. That's more of something we need to sand than use a cutter on. And it will fit just nicely down. Yeah, you see how it just drops down now? It fits. It does have a little place to live, doesn't it? But you're right. I should make a cable, because even if I solder this in, if there's a problem with this board, it's going to be really impossible to debug with that covering everything up. So yeah, all right. I'll do that for next time then. Oh, so Dean, Game Whisperer. Dean, did you witness what happened to the prize you've donated? Kayak Fan has won that one, and he's going to be causing all sorts of mirth. So Electron Ash says he had to Dremel the corner off one of his PCB designs the other day. I didn't think it through. When you say you didn't think it through, that almost sounds though that you've like mashed your PCB trying to Dremel it off rather than it being successful. Or did you just not think through the design? Well, actually, and also Andrew, there is another way of doing this. It might be easier to actually change the lines on the Pi side. No, it's not, because look at this. Ooh, who would have done that? You see, if this branch here was coming off there, for example, rather than that, I could just cut it there as well, and that'd be super easy to Kynar across those things. But it doesn't matter. It does not matter, because Chrissy, like he said, so Chrissy says, I think if you mount the OLED that way, it's upside down compared to the button labels anyway. Well, yeah, so that would need...
upside down.
And you know what that would mean, Rob? That would mean you'd have to go into the software and change the settings so it's the right way around. And if you're going to do that, you might as well fix the bloody I2C lines, tell it in the profile to do it the right way around. Chrissy, while you're in the chat, by the way, please, can you just tell us, I'm going to hold this up, can you tell me what's the kind of orientation in one of your cases you think it's going to be? Do you think this is going to be at the front like that? Is that possible to mount that like that and use the this external header with a bit of variable to put these buttons there? And I'm actually looking, Rob, at the PCB to see here if you actually cut the board, if you could cut the buttons off to use them. But yeah, I wouldn't advise it. It is possibly impossible.
I think you should be banned from Dremels. Chop everything up.
Chop it all up. Well, I used to do that all the time. Actually, Rob, that's how the screen's supposed to give me. And imagine that was a design, just sticking out over the edge. Oh, so yeah, Chrissy's saying yep, something like that. So, Chrissy, I think you're still. James saying you'd use a ribbon. I think you're right, James, definitely on that one. Chrissy, I think you're still in the process of cogitating how this design should exist with these on. It's almost as if these should be the other way round, shouldn't we? Because imagine the Raspberry Pi is sitting on the bottom and you'd want all the connectors. It might have been possible to make it longer and put these on upside down. But, you know, you could spend forever trying to perfect something, couldn't you? Right, so boys and girls at home, I've seen a lot of new faces today in the chat and the stream chat, and I welcome you. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know if you are sort of Commodore fans or hardware fans or both, but if you are and you're not on the Discord channel, please feel free to jump over there and pick the brains of people there who are much better than me at these things. Also, then I'll be able to post and give you updates on this board. We're going to be, before the next stream, we're probably going to test something out before then. You'll get to see it soon. Also, if you, I'm going to start doing a kind of Patreon drive soon because I think we're really enjoying making boards. What do you think, Rob? All this hardware malarkey is starting to get quite fun now.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm really getting into it. It was my passion for a long time. I haven't done it for a long time, and now you can see I'm getting back into it. Rather than tearing down, I'm building up. So we might put some patron goals or something in there, and if we get a certain level, I can devote a certain amount to making a new project every month, probably. And I think that would be cool. We can do that one. And there were some questions in the Discord. Oh, crikey. Let's go back. Noggin and Nog says buy a 128 by 64 display. Yeah, I think that's the display that Rob was using. You can use the bigger display. I'm doing some IoT stuff, so I happen to have these. But also, if you look at Chrissy's design, it really lends itself to that because his case is super slim. So that's why he's using that one. Craig Jones says, do you know if there's a way to set up the TV Begone device remotely by connecting it to an internet connection so you could hide it permanently then? Abso-freaking-lutely. By the way, if you ever saw my RetroNet project, I used a chip called ESP8266 or 8622. I always get confused. Actually, let me have a look. I'm not showing you my secret hardware, by the way. Secret. It's not for you yet. 8266. And the question is, yes, I have done it. I can definitely do that. It's a shame I'm giving it away as a prize almost because I could definitely show you doing that. Absolutely. If you want to, again, maybe that could be a Patreon thing. Let's set that up. We'll just have a list of projects. That could be one of them. Electron Ash says, I love the fact that you can still buy those old school DIN sockets. Yeah, I kind of, I quite like them actually. You know, Rob, I'm not really sure I agreed with putting these on the board, but I don't mind. And it's actually pretty damn solid to do it. But I'm thinking, for projects, these aren't bad because they're a lot better than a lot of the crap I've seen on projects for getting I/O on things. And you could just
nice fit and a nice firm fit.
Yeah, because if you had like a bit of GPIO and some test probes, and look, you've got how many is it? 6 pins, 6 independent pins and a ground. I mean, yeah, and they're cheap as chips, aren't they? These things, they're not going to be dear.
Yeah.
That's a good one. James Bear says, did you check the hole locations? I'm not sure what holes you're talking about, James. If it's the mounting holes, yes. And if it's the pins for these, yes. But they're for a different screen. Is it possible to convert a PS2 keyboard to USB, Becky says? It's not really. I mean, there were the adapters for doing it, but they already had the PS2 support in those ports, so probably not. And that's already answered through the rest of this chat, which Electron Ash is saying there. The Teensy has HID support too. It's a lot smaller than Arduino boards. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Again, all right, I'm going to give the little hint now. If you want to get into it and you want to be in parity with what we're doing on the channel, get some of those boards, by the way. Again, any ESP 8266 board would do, or module could be useful, or wait for potentially a back office design with a module, and then that will let you build a lot of gadgets like being discussed in the chat, sort of Wi-Fi controlled gadgets, things for controlling devices over I2C, USB sensors, maybe some HID stuff, but I think for Becky's needs we'd probably have to have an auxiliary chip for that. So I think I'm all out, guys. I think I'm all out. Rob, do you have anything to add, sir?
I was going to say better late than never, Retrotech Ralph.
Is Retrotech Ralph just joined?
Yeah, the dog ate his homework.
Oh dear. Did you see, by the way, there was a picture on the internet, a meme going around about someone where there's a dog and he's eaten through a telephone pole. And that was the excuse that the linesman was giving his boss. I can't do any work because a dog ate through the pole. Retrotech Ralph says, sorry I was filming. So is this one of your YouTube channels, Ralph, or is this your specialist streaming activities you do?
Sounds dubious.
His specialist streaming activities that pays more than YouTube. And this, I'd never thought in this day and age I'd be whittling my tweezers down to remove that super glue. Oh, a teardown of the cue ball game. I don't even know what the cue ball game is. I really don't. Right. Well, my lovelies, I think I'm going to have to go, and it's been a pleasure talking to you all. But as we're going to be doing another part for this, let's provide some sanity to those people watching these on live replay, because it's already an hour and a half. We don't need to make it a 2-hour one. But it's been great. And Nog in the Nog says he's ESP8266. Great. I got an ESP32 on order. Not many GPIO pins though. Wi-Fi and web. By the way, if you've got an ESP8266 and you are annoyed that you only have one analog pin, it is super easy to get a multiplexer. Right? It is super easy. So don't feel inadequate by your one pin hardware. You can always mod it out. But yeah, thanks everybody. Join me again on the next stream. Hopefully it's going to be this week, where we're going to connect this bad guy up to the Commodore 64 and hopefully play some games. Good night. Speak to you soon. Oh, Thomas. Where were you, Thomas? Are you just saying hi now? So many people only just saying hi now. I don't see Thomas for months and months and months, and then he just says hi at the end of a stream. You cheeky bugger. You better be there on the next one. As ever, thanks for watching.